giving me the elaborate introduction about me. I'm an agriculture graduate and known for helping greening of Leh Valley and giving a new crop, sea buckthorn, which has got several medicinal properties. I welcome the viewers of this webinar on specialty horticulture. This specialty horticulture is intensive production of horticulture crops. We can say it greenhouse cultivation or protected cultivation. This specialty horticulture is practiced using modern horticulture technologies. What I mean by modern horticulture technologies, the technologies involves into it are soilless horticulture, hydroponics, aeroponics, aquaponics. I will be explaining all this. Then vertical horticulture. Weavers must have heard about the vertical gardening, etc. I will be touching upon that. So let me proceed further. The protected cultivation. Protected cultivation, what we do, we provide microclimate around the plant which suits it to yield better. In this, what we minimize are land, means we require less land, and water. The water requirement in comparison to traditional method are reduced to a great extent. That I shall be covering little later. But this protected cultivation covers two major things, or it is comprised of two technologies from the engineering side and another one from the crop production sides. That engineering side is structural engineering and associated things, and these days lot many things related to computer science and artificial intelligence and whatnot. Everything comes under the engineering, which deals with the frames, cladding material. Cladding material is nothing but the covering material. The irrigation system. These days, modern irrigation things like drip irrigation, fertigation are there. Tools, there are n number of tools, including robots, the implements and other engineering inputs. We follow these days precision farming, where everything is judged first and then right thing or the right input is applied at the right place at the right time. And this all leads to the better yield. That's what we are interested in. And not only the better yield, but it facilitates to have crop during off season or around the year, in addition to the usual season or the normal season. Then the another aspect is the crop production technology. The crop production technology is very important. The first thing in crop production technology is identification or knowing the suitable variety or the hybrids. These are the era of hybrids generally when we deals with horticulture crops. So suitable hybrid for the protected structure we are following. That will give not only better economical yield, but because of the less input, it will be eco-friendly also. Now the protected structure, what I talked about, I just categorize them into two. The low cost protected structure are the cheaper technologies and the high cost. Among the low cost, I have listed here about 8 technologies: plastic mulch, plastic low tunnel, walk-in tunnel, high roof tunnel with ventilation, then insect-proof net houses, shade net houses, naturally ventilated poly houses, and other innovative structures which can be managed locally. But under high cost, generally we have got everything controlled. The climate controlled greenhouses with automation. There is one farming known as container farming. There, all the parameters are controlled. And the latest one is smart horticulture. So one by one, I will just explain. My idea in this presentation is just to introduce the topic, to enhance the knowledge of one and all. It may not be very informative those who know the subject. I have made the presentation keeping in view the interest of all the viewers, whether they know the subject or they do not know the subject. Those who know the subject, I'm sure they will also find something new into it. So let me start with plastic mulch. Plastic mulch is nothing but a covering to the soil before planting the crop. As we plant or transplant the crops, we spread the polythene film of certain gauge with the markings where the sowing is to be done or the seedlings are to be transplanted. And you get the crop as you see in the slide, the muskmelon crop, the strawberry crop, and down below you see the watermelon crop in Leh, Ladakh, the Union Territory of Ladakh. And the one where you see my wife is standing there, that is a Indo-Israeli project at Garonda in Haryana, in a tomato uh, this low tunnel, not low tunnel, but the walk-in tunnel with the plastic mulch. Plastic mulch, the viewers must be wondering why this guy is advocating the plastic in this era where plastic is criticized. But plastic is giving lot many advantages. There is no need of interculture. You need not to spend on weeding. You save lot of water, and the crops are healthy. The crops are the produce doesn't come in touch with the soil. So healthy one. So many advantages there. But even then, it's not environment friendly. So efforts are on to develop commercial grade photo and or biodegradable plastic films. And I'm sure in coming years, we will be able to get the one which meet the requirement of just eco-friendly nature. Now the next structure which I listed there is the low tunnel. Low tunnel is nothing but when the atmosphere, particularly the low temperature during winter month, particularly in North India, the crop is to be covered or saved from the low temperature. So the crop is covered with the low tunnel as soon as it is sown. And after that, when the low temperature is not there and crop has grown up, this plastic or the cover is to be removed. The another photograph, you are seeing the chili nursery. This is a herbage nursery in Haryana. This gentleman is having about 7 acres of nursery. I had the fortune to visit him, and that 7 acre was under chili nursery. And he is supplying the chili nursery throughout the country using this technology, low tunnel technology. And this technology is becoming popular and giving a lot of benefit to the users, particularly the farmers, even having the early crop. You know, in case of vegetable, when you go to the early crop, the farmers get the better profit, and the consumer get the better satisfaction. Then walk-in tunnel, where the individual can walk into the structure. This is a small structure, and here we can have the crop, keeping in view the condition of that area, because there is no control measures except that the cover has been provided on that, which give the protection generally against the low temperature or in some cases rains. You see a slide, the first one, Bhut Julakia chili in Arunachal Pradesh. Deliberately, I have put this picture to just mention that this is the hottest chili in a globe. Luckily, in India, which is being used not only for the condiment or spices, but for making the chili bombs, etc., to spread the crowd and others are low intensity conflict areas. Then you see in the low tunnel at a small scale, one can have the tomato crop and other crops as have been shown here. Even the nursery one can have the crops like cauliflower, cabbage, they can be taken. Large number of floriculture crops, carnation, gladiolus, gerbera, and durium, they all can be taken under this low tunnel. Another structure which is quite useful, cheaper, and practicable one, and becoming popular is insect-proof net house. Insect-proof net house, the main purpose is physically prevent the insect uh, going nearer to the crop or entering the field. Simple thing is putting a barrier to it. And 40 mesh can be erected and it can give around 20% shade. That's all. Not a very sophisticated technology, but quite useful one. And insect. Some of the insects are vectors. And if vectors are prevented entering this, we save the crop from the diseases or vector-borne diseases remain under check. So this one you see in this slide, we have tomato crop, you can have this papaya, one can have onion and other crops, number of crop can be taken into it and it is becoming quite popular and it works out to be cheaper also because it's quite inexpensive. Then we can have the shade houses. Shade houses are still cheaper and we take number of things under shades. The entire plant nursery industry using shade houses or shades and having the crop, saving them from the adverse weather. So big application of shade nets. But here I have shown most important use of it. A farmer at Chittoor in Andhra Pradesh, you see how much nursery he is taking and earning his livelihood with that. Then the next structure, in certain areas like Kerala, Andaman Nicobar and other places, we have got heavy rainfalls. And that heavy rainfall does not allow production of vegetables, which are very important. And these states used to borrow or import vegetable from neighboring states or from other states compulsorily because there was no production. But because of the technology of rain shelter, these states, when I am using the word these states, Kerala plus other states wherever the high rainfalls are there, they are able to produce fresh vegetable in a sizable amount because of this technology and free of the hassles of importing, and they get naturally the fresh or better vegetables than having them imported from other states. The another structure is naturally ventilated polyhouse. It is a polyhouse, tunnel sort of a thing at certain height, and we provide the ventilation into it so that the hot air can escape through and the temperature is maintained or lowered to suit the crop or should not harm the crop. And under this naturally ventilated polyhouse, which is quite popular, and government is also encouraging, and people are getting subsidy on it. And I have seen throughout the country, this structure is popular, being used for maintaining the nursery, multiplying the plant nurseries of ornamental crop, growing vegetables, growing strawberries, and different crops. And under this structure, you can club the other one which I just talked about, the plastic mulch. Under this, you use the plastic mulch, and that with the plastic mulch, you use the modern technology of giving the irrigation, where lot of saving in irrigation water as well as fertilizer, what we call the fertigation, or the drip irrigation, where the water is supplied drip by drip near the root zone of a plant. So with this plastic mulch and naturally ventilated polyhouse, one can have the crop round the year in off season and with great savings, with great satisfaction. I think I was introduced that I have worked in Leh. So if I don't touch the experience or narration on my stay there in Ladakh, that won't be justified. So let me take you to the Ladakh story. 60 years long story. Research started somewhere in 60s when DRDO had a laboratory which I, for sizable period of 5 years or so, I had the fortune to have it. Continuous research have led to the technology enabling growing large number of vegetables. Before that, only few vegetables, say potato, carrot, radish, turnip, onion also, I think. These were the vegetables known to those people in that area. But why DRDO has gone there, viewers must be wondering. It was necessary because the Defense Ministry, who has got a large number of defense personnel there, they are to be fed locally, but the fresh is not available there. Not only the vegetable, but the fruits, milk, egg, everything. To be brought from plain nearby Chandigarh or Delhi or place like Jammu. This air transportation cost heavily. The transportation cost, let me narrate you one story here. When we have given this technology to the farmers cooperative, and farmer cooperatives were having a contract with the local army supply corps, which enter into a contract of annual contract to have the supply regularly. When the price negotiations was going on, the chief of cooperative society has asked the price, sir, we will give you the vegetable free of cost. You pay us the freight you are paying transporting these vegetables from Chandigarh or Delhi to this place, only that much. So you can imagine what can be the price of the freight. So to reduce that huge expenditure, DRDO has got a lab on the direction of very high office or the Ministry of Defense and above the Prime Minister level, long back somewhere in 60s. And DRDO has developed a large number of technologies and now substantially supplying sizable quantity of fresh vegetables, milk, egg, chicken, and other things. So this is very important. And since electricity or the power is not available there, now things have little bit improved, but earlier it was terrible. I worked in a mud structure. My laboratory was mud structure only. So one can imagine when the director is sitting in a mud structure, what sort of a laboratory it can be, and what will be the condition of the farmers and other things. Anyway, that is a long story. I don't want to just take you to that one. But under that atmosphere, the technology has been developed, and now uh, almost all sort of a vegetable with good quality are being grown there and being supplied to the local army. And these vegetables have got the national and international records. You will be surprised that the large size of cabbage weighing about 7-8 kgs, and even the turnip weighing about 3 kg, radish weighing about 5 kg. Such a large size it comes. That is the contribution of the climatic condition there during summer month. There we have got a long photo period. Sun is around for 13 to 14 hours. That helps in getting better crop or large size of vegetable what I talked about. So this is about the Ladakh story I wanted to just expose you. Let me see, you must be seeing that we are growing underground. This underground is also a technology we call is a trench cultivations. Here in this, you see the down below the trench, about 3 feet or 4 feet deep, and you see the covered one above. So here what we are doing, we are harnessing during the peak winter when atmospheric temperature is minus 15, minus 20 degrees centigrade, we harness here the soil heat, you know, around 3 feet or 4 feet, the soil temperature is higher than the above one, or the soil does not freeze below 4 feet or so. So that heat and from above, from the sun, with the use of this plastics, we just harness that and have the crops. This technology looks very simple but quite paying. By this, we are able to raise the nursery well in advance. Well in advance when we see when the climate is suitable for planting in the open field and temperature is conducive for the crop, or we call it a cropping period, by the time we have the nursery ready. And that has helped a lot. The crops like tomato, capsicum, brinjal, they never used to be there, but now they are being grown commercially. So is the case a number of cucurbits. When I use the word cucurbits, means the kaddu parivar, bottle gourd, the sponge gourd, bitter gourd, and squash, and the pumpkin, and things like that. The vine crops, they are uh, being grown now on large scale. Now, I switch on to the another technology where farming without soil. Sound unusual. Those who are not in the trade are on the subject, but it's a fact. Why it is a fact? See this one. Our food comes through photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is a process in a plant, particularly the leaf, where the chlorophyll takes sunlight or the light. It can be artificial also. These days, we are concentrating on artificial light, the LEDs, or the sunlight, and the CO2, water, and it produces the carbohydrate, leading to other metabolites or the nutrients or whatever you call them, and oxygen and water. You don't see here the role of soil in this reaction, say photosynthetic reaction. So what is the role of soil? Soil main role is to give support to the plant. That I will try to justify in the coming slides. That's what the soil-less cultivation. The soil-less cultivation, soil-less horticulture is the cultivation of crops in media. Media we call substrate also. Substrate in which the crop is grown. Soil is a main substrate, but substrate other than soil. That's what here we are discussing. And what they can be, I've listed some of them here. Cocoa peat, rock wool, peat, perlite, vermiculite, sawdust, bark chips, sand, gravel, pumice, polyurethane mat, and simple water and mixtures of above in different combination. And these days in the market you find different substrate. Some you will find in form of bricks also. The cocoa bricks are becoming common. Some without nutrient, some with nutrient, and some have been given a shape to be lighter one, easy to transport from one place to another. What is the advantage of having the soil-less cultivation? The major advantage are the increase in yield per unit of water, space, and energy. The inputs are reduced and output is enhanced. That is the advantage, major advantage. Another advantage is the space utilization. It's a maximum use of the space available, not horizontally, but vertically also. That's what we call vertical growing, and I will be covering that. Then this soil-less cultivation is not something modern or new one, but it is becoming popular now. That is why it looks a modern one, new age technology, and whatever term we scientists keep on giving, that is there. But it's an age-old technology. We used to have, or still having, mushroom cultivation, which is grown without using soil. Button mushroom and other type of mushrooms, they are grown on large scale, and some farmers have got good return out of this, and some of them are very rich too. So this soil-less cultivation, let me start with the nursery production. Nursery, when I say the seedling production. Seedling also, when I say seedlings, I mean here generally vegetable seedling and ornamental, the annual flowers seedling also. They are multiplying in soil-less medium, cocoa peat and others, depending upon the availability, local availability and suitability on all that. Here in this slide, what you see, no soil has been used, all the substrate. Here in one picture, you see that the plug trays are being used, and this structure is solar powered. So we call it a high-tech disease-free nursery production. And this is at Garonda, which is a Indo-Israeli collaboration project. But now farmers are having their own independent one and good business of supplying the nursery, that too quality nursery. See, major role in production of horticulture is of the planting material, and seedling is part of the planting material. If planting material is good, your 50% of the crop would be better. If the planting material is no good, then the crop is likely to be poor. You see the another side by side. Some of you who are not exposed to this will be wondering, we don't use simply the seedlings. Seed is sown and the plant is coming up after, say, 30 days or 35 days. We use as a seedling and transplant. But there is problem in this. There are lot many diseases which come in these crops, horticulture crops. Big problem. Lot many insects and diseases. To overcome that and to avoid excessive, even the judicious use of these pesticides, dangerous for the environment, we want to avoid that. So for that, the solution is to use the disease or insect resistant root stock and have the grafts. This slide, tomato grafted seedling you see, is there. Even the tomato grafts are available, brinjal grafts are there, cucurbit grafts are there. In each crop, keeping in view the diseases on regional basis, root stock have been found and the grafts are prepared, and those grafts are giving better yield and pesticide free produce. So that is one of the technologies I thought I should share with the audience or the viewers. And this technology is already practiced in states like Chhattisgarh, Karnataka, and many other places. You see the nursery grown in soilless medium under plugs. The variety of crops are here and see the health of the seedlings. The plant nurseries where ornamental plants are multiplied, there also I advocate, discourage the use of nurseries, this soil. The soil less or substrate other than soil should be used. I advocate that to the extent possible, don't use soil for multiplication of ornamental plant, because these ornamental plants multiplied at X place and they are transported several hundred kilometers for sale, particularly in metros. And I'm sorry to say that in that process, we are transporting the insect pest and diseases which are soil borne. So if soil is not used, we take precautions of in not spreading the pathogens unknowingly. So it is very important, I lay emphasis on that, that our nurserymen, particularly wherever the nurseries are multiplied, they should switch on to the soilless medium. It will be a great service to the nation, to the environment, and we will have the pesticide free produce and crops. Next one is the seedlings, same under soilless medium, but through another process, what we call the tissue culture. You must have had tissue culture plants, and tissue culture banana has become popular in the country, large scale. So I thought of sharing this slide with you. We have to multiply from the tissue or the vegetative part in the laboratory, take them outside the plants and raise them in soilless medium and supply to the farmers. And it is a quite paying proposition. People are spliced into it. I know some of my colleagues, junior colleagues, are in this business after retirement of their service. They are extending the service to the nation by providing tissue cultured banana and papaya plants and other crop plants. Now coming to the another aspect of the soilless medium, what we call the hydroponics. Hydro means water. You can say it's a water culture in a layman terms. Ponics, the labor, what we do it. So growing crop in water, you can't grow crop only in water, you have to add, or one has to add nutrient to it. Nutrient plus water, it works. You can manipulate in a different way and give the name of different technologies, you can have the crops. Here you see in Gurgaon, where this hydroponic is going on for leafy vegetable. And here in one slide, you see the nursery is being multiplied for nutrient film technique. Nutrient film technique is nothing but the nutrient in liquid form are added to the water and circulated on those whatever gully type or the other type of systems. So the nursery also in cubes, the synthetic material, raw cool type or some other type, they are available in form of cubes, and those cubes have got the place to put the seed into it, and you just float them in water in trays. They take water from that, shock it, they germinate. Slight nutrient can be added to that, and the seedlings are ready. Seedlings, when they are ready, they are shifted to the other systems of NFT in hydroponic in a different manner, whatever you are using it. Here, the gully type of the vertical thing you are seeing in the picture, where lettuce is grown. Generally, all these hydroponics are practiced in greenhouses or protected structures, which everybody can't afford. So I thought of trying them into open. In my courtyard, I experimented only this year. You see the picture here. This is in my courtyard. The NFT, you see the gully type in the center, and the other two sides, they are nothing but the towers in which the nutrient is circulated with the help of pump, or if pump is not working, even manually one can do that. This can be used even at the rooftop, but seasonal crop would only response, while in structures, greenhouse or whatever, you can have the off-season vegetable also. Here the advantage of season is not there, but if we get the seasonal fresh vegetable in your house itself, in concrete houses, not that in kitchen garden or something where you require a lot of space. Here you hardly you require few feet of space, and you can manage to have some greens. Besides having greens, let me emphasize here, this type of technology is an excellent source of children education. Children in metros, they do not know from where they produce the food is coming. Underground, above ground, or wherever, whatever it is, they are not exposed to it. Unfortunately, in primary class or secondary class, very little is told about the agriculture. But if in every house or nearby house or in a locality, you have got such thing, I consider this is excellent means of education to the children. And even in schools can run this as easily. And whatever there, that midday meal program is there, under that They can supplement the fresh vegetable to the, they are nutritive, they are good for the health. So, and children, while learning, they are enjoying also their produce. So I consider this a good one, and somebody should, in a policy makers platform, think of introducing such thing in our education system. So next one, you see in soil-less medium, you will wonder, potato crop is being grown in soil-less medium. The Karnal area in a government farm this January 2020, I witnessed the healthy potato crop in a net house and in soil-less medium. A lot of potential. I'm told it gave much more yield than in a traditional method in open. Besides a healthy crop, no need of spraying anything, insect, etc. Nothing was there. So is the case with tomato production. Tomato production can be taken up or is being practiced in the country now substantially in different ways under soil-less medium. Whether you have got just I talked about the hydroponics, or you can have the soil-less medium with the fertigation, etc. The excellent crop you see in the soil-less medium. The another one, what we hear that abroad we have got beautiful farms or the food factories or other names, they give beautiful name to that. But our country is not lagging behind. We have got uh, good progress in that. And see, I have deliberately given the picture of the Talegaon, Pune. A, firm have erected a farmhouse in Bangalore that see the beautiful crop of comparable with anybody in the world of lettuce. All sophistication is there. They have made this for the Kelvin infrastructure industry. And lot many crops can be grown. The difficult crops which people see that underground crop can't be grown in soil-less medium. Here is the example. What you have to do, you have to provide the die sort of a thing or the tray which can accommodate the produce. Say carrot, you to have the plug trays deep enough to facilitate the root development. You need not to have the soil in that, you have the soil-less medium. So is the case with the radish and turnip and other crops, even the beet. You can have the crops as has been shown in this slide. The another one technology is aeroponic. I told you earlier hydroponic. Hydroponic means water as such. Aeroponic means the same technology, but it is the water is the mixture of nutrient and water is in the form of mist or fog applied on the roots of the plant. I repeat, the mixture of water and nutrient is sprayed on the roots of plants in the form of fog or mist. And the root takes the happily the nutrients. What you see in the slide is the potato roots, and here down below you see the potato formation. Here a small one and the harvested one here. So like that you can have the crops. there are other crops also can be taken like that. I have deliberately shown this underground one. Above ground one crops do much better. As you have seen the lettuce and other leafy vegetables, they come up nicely. I think I will be showing some other slides also on that. And in continuation with the potato, you know, the seed production of potato is a highly technical one and very important one. Until unless we supply the disease-free potato tubers, the farmer is not going to have a good crop. So that is what has been shown in the slide, that you multiply the tubers in the laboratory, and from the laboratory you have the microtubers. uh, those microtubers are planted in polyhouse or some structure. They are multiplied there. You get the mini tubers there. Those mini tubers are taken to the field. Uh, the first phase and the, in some cases, second phase. And what you get after the second phase is the breeder seed or true breeder seed. That was the technology I thought I can share with the viewers, what the potato breeders are doing to multiply the potato seeds. Then the another technology, aquaponic. This aquaponic, you know, aquaculture. When we say aquaculture, aquaculture means fish farming in simple layman terms. But when fish and vegetable both with the same resource can be grown, we call them the aquaponics. It involves production of fish, vegetable, and you have both one. And the example is that people must have seen in paddy field itself, we release certain fish also, and people have got the fish and paddy also. So that is one of the examples. So on the same pattern, it is done. And see, whatever feed we give to the fish, their excreta, they generally ammonia, which is converted into the nitrate, and the same water is circulated. The plant roots serve as a biofilter for that, and the water become suitable for the fish. So double advantage. Uh, you are having a vegetable also along with fish. That is a aquaponic. Now coming to the vertical farming. We have to go instead of horizontal, the vertical one. And it is the practice of growing crops. I think it's okay.
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 Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay. It is the practice of growing crops in vertical staked layer, one over the other. Because whatever space the plant needs, they require that place only now. Not like that the roof is about 1 meter or 2 meter above all that. Whatever space the plant requires, that only we can provide. It often incorporates controlled environment agriculture with aims of optimizing plant growth and soil-less farming technique, what I have covered. And the technologies, just now I covered hydroponic, aeroponic, aquaponic, they can be used in that. The aquaponic also can be used, the vegetable can be grown in vertical fashion. Then some common choices of structure to house vertical farming can be those abandoned buildings. Na? You know, some buildings become useless for the profession. So they can be converted into such type of ventures, such as shipping containers, tunnels, abandoned mine shafts, and other. In different countries, we have got a different structure like that. They can be used instead of constructing the new building for having the vertical farming or the food factory. What the vertical farming is there, I have put it to have more with less. I repeat, to have more with less is the key principle of vertical farming. So how the vertical farming goes, you see my friend Sunil Jose, alumnus of Indian Institute of uh, Management, Bangalore. He is doing uh, this hydroponic in a vertical fashion and growing herbs. You know, herbs is an important area of horticulture, and he is multiplying that in vertical fashion, where only one plant would have been available. He is having a number of plants in that 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever is taken, he can do it. So space is utilized. The vertical space which was going waste earlier, it has been utilized. Uh, and another example, you can have the vertical vegetable wall. One can have in the house uh, different type of vegetable, particularly the leafy vegetable. These people are fond of podina, palak, dhania, or coriander, etc. Those are the favorite one, and they come up luckily nicely under this system. You see the basil wall here, the Italian basil, how nicely it is coming up and can be managed. The another aspect of vertical farming is vertical garden or vertical wall or vertical, we name different differently. That's bio wall also we call that. This NDMC Delhi guys in March, I have taken a picture from that. And in all metros, this vertical garden or vertical walls are becoming popular. Even on Yamuna Bridge here in Delhi, we have got these vertical gardens. And in metro pillars, I think in Delhi and other places also, it is coming up. It's this, this aspect is picking up nicely, and it's good for the environment. Wherever the environment is bad, the plants are there to help. We can't have forest, the very large growing plants everywhere. So wherever little space is available, vertical wall is there to help. You see here, and you can have the variety of plants here, different varieties. You have to choose. Choose, keeping in view their growing habit and the climate of the area where you are going to have it, plus liking of the individuals. Then you see how the vertical gardens are made, or vertical wall is made. This is a view of the Mayflower nursery near Bombay. You see how there, and the back side looks like that, where the blank is shown, and the front side, the watering, etc., can be done, and the nutrient or the substrate can have the sufficient nutrient. You need not to add the nutrient frequently, or in some cases, this is a fertigation is followed. It depends. There are different design and all that. Then see vertical. You can have a funny type of these arrangements also, quite beautiful and good written from that. You see strawberry is grown in the same pot, but pots are stacked, and the little space available in the corners is used for planting the strawberry. And strawberry is just flourishing there, and centrally we irrigate it, and you get the strawberry as has been shown on the side. One can have it anywhere. Different arrangement can be done of the vertical one. I have shown you so many. Then the container hydroponic vertical system, I wanted to lay much more emphasis on that, but I'm seeing the time is a constraint here. So in a simple term, you can have the vertical production with all controlled conditions anywhere, and that container can be transported anywhere where it is required. And this system is important, and in future we will be following it. And in other countries, it has become quite popular. We have not started because always we think the cost first. What is the cost? High cost. We think later on adopting it. When somebody has adopted, we just get the technology and do it. Otherwise, we could have done in one is one. Our country needs this badly for almost all metros and all difficult places where we can't grow the vegetable, it can be transported easily through the container farming, and you can have all sort of vegetables and other things, even the fruits like strawberry and others. Then there is another technology, the microgreen. You must have heard it. Microgreens are nothing that the when you see the sprouts, the next stage after the sprout is the seedling formation. The seedlings stage, it has been proved that seedling stage is full of nutrients. Good one. So the crops are raised, particularly of brassica family, the mustard family, cabbage, cauliflower, and whatnot. All sort of things are mustard, and we use them, and it has become popular. I have tasted somewhere in Bangalore airport this microgreens in restaurants, etc. The another one where is still easier and see close to the consumer, what we call the consumer facing technology. You go to the hotel, the vertical rack is there. You can pick up the vegetable of your choice and have it, but you have to pay for it. But where you need not to pay, that you can have it in your kitchen, where the smart aero garden, aeroponic, has been shown here. The light is there. That LED light takes care of the sun. The sunlight is provided by that LED, substituted by that, and the nutrients are supplied using the smart technologies. Here, the required thing, you have to just program it, and every day, as you feel like, you can have the vegetables. Now, the COVID, people should not get afraid of it. We should live with the COVID-19. Only thing we have to develop, change our lifestyle. We have to have the new normals, and the COVID has affected the other industries. This our horticulture industry is also no exception to that. It has affected. People have suffered a lot. The nursery people have suffered a lot. The vegetable growers have suffered a lot. Flower growing people and sellers all have affected. Nothing new in that. You all that know. But the good news is that the greenhouse industry, perhaps the government will support now onward and give much more emphasis on the technologies which I talked about, especially horticulture. So with this, I conclude, and I conclude in 2 words, that the future horticulture is specialty horticulture. I thank one and all for the patient hearing or viewing.
Thank you so much, sir.
Priya, 1 minute. Priya, 1 minute. Priya, 1 minute.
Ji, sir.
Sir, it was really a excellent session. Let me be very admit that many words, they were music to the ears, but we were hearing them for the first time. Hydroponics, aeroponics, soilless cultivation. So my only question will be, sir, we'll have some more questions if you permit. My question to you, respected sir, will be, sir, are you able to hear us?
Yes, patiently hearing.
Sir, my question will be, these technologies are so obsessive. How are they? How can these be commonly available to the common person? Like in tier 2 cities like Bhopal and all, each one of us have some ample space, and we can definitely put into practice if these are easily available technologies. And how does the cost economy work, sir?
See, nobody can be commoner than me. I'm a common man. I solved the hydroponic in my courtyard. If I can afford, I'm sure person like you can easily afford it. Only thing, the source, which I would be able to let you know, though I have put up somewhere the firm's name, but I never wanted to advertise that. You can correspond with me. The people can afford it easily.
Sir, we'll be thankful to you because, sir, as you are aware, we'll be soon having a Department of Agriculture at IES.
Oh.
And these are the technologies we would like to not only demonstrate but adopt at IES. Sir, just to share with you, our campus is the first green campus of the state of MP. And with
Good.
these technologies, sir, we would like to take it further. And whenever you happen to be in Bhopal, we would certainly be obliged and pleased if you can make a visit to the campus.
Sure, I can say whenever the lockdown is over, I can plan, but I don't know about the lockdown, how long it will continue, because
You have to come for
we are terribly afraid of COVID-19, which we should have not.
So let us pray for each other and for the world. Hope everything settles down and we are back to normal.
That's right, because
Anybody has any question to Dr. Brahma Singh? Srivastava Sahab, I think certainly you might be having some questions. PK Srivastava Sahab. Srivastava ji, are you able to hear us? Srivastava ji,
सर म्यूट है उनका.
अरे यार मैंने अनम्यूट भी किया है. Srivastava साहब, चलिए, anybody else has any questions, please? Any other participant?